Hi guys, Angel Fish Keeper here, and today I'm going to explain why you shouldn't do water changes on a weekend. Now, I don't know if this is the case everywhere, but in my area of the UK, which is the northeast of England, it's very bad for your fish tanks to do a water change on either the Saturday or the Sunday, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. So if you didn't know, I work in an aquarium shop, so I work with fish, and one of the most common things I get asked is, why is my tank gone cloudy? And obviously I'll run them through all the main things. I'll be like, if you've cleaned your filters out, make sure you haven't cleaned them under the tap, as long as you've cleaned them in your dirty tank water. I knock that one out. I'm like, is there any construction work? Is there any scented candles or air fresheners in the same room as the fish? And once I've knocked everything off the list, I'll ask them about the water change. And, well, first of all, I will ask them, I'll be like, is it a green cloudy or is it a white cloudy? Obviously, if it's a green cloudy, you've just got suspended algae floating about in your tank, and that's just knock your lights down. But if it's a white cloudy, if it looks like somebody's poured milk into your aquarium, it's a bacterial bloom. And you should only really get a bacterial bloom for the first week to 2 weeks of your tank's life, when you're going through new tank syndrome or you're going through your cycle. After that, you should never get it again. But obviously, people do the water changes on a weekend and they don't think anything of it. They're using the water conditioner, to take the chlorine out of the tap water and all that kind of stuff. But what the water board do, and they don't tell you, which I think they should, because there's a lot of people keeping fish, and a lot of people lose fish to this, people who've got, especially with discus tanks, this is a big problem. Obviously, if you're using RO, it's not so much of an issue, but if you're using tap water, this is a big problem. So I'd say do your water changes in the middle of the week. I'm doing mine on a Friday, so I'm kind of just cutting this. I wouldn't have done it if it was tomorrow, but I'm doing mine on a Friday, which is, it's okay because I'm not going to do this till tomorrow. But what the water board do is they flush the pipes. All the lime scale build-up that builds up into the pipes, they need to get rid of that, which means they will overdose with everything that's normally in tap water. So your chlorine, your chloramine, your fluoride, all that kind of stuff, they up the dosage of that. So that means that normal amount of water conditioner that you normally do for your 20% water change isn't enough. You need to double dose if you're doing your water changes on a weekend. You need to put more water conditioner in than you recommended, because your water board flush the pipes, to get rid of this lime scale build up. But obviously when you're doing that, putting that into your tank, the chlorines, the chloramines and the fluorides all kill your bacteria on your filters, and within a couple of days it's all dead and your tank's cloudy. And you don't know why, because you've just done a water change, but you've done it on the weekend, and that's why it's gone cloudy. So obviously, to avoid this altogether, just do your water changes in the middle of the week. You'll be perfectly fine. Basically Monday to Friday, just avoid Saturday, Sunday altogether, because that's when they're flushing the pipes. And you'll actually notice, if you do complain to the water board, they don't say anything, but if you look up the street, or if you complain to them and say, well, I can smell ammonia in the tap water, if you say that, they won't say anything to you about that. They'll just kind of hang up the phone. But in about an hour's time, if you either look up the street, you'll see someone from the water board actually knocking on the doors, asking people if they can test the water. But they will never actually come to your house, after you've called. They'll go to other people's, which I've noticed, because I've done that a couple of times. Before I realised what they actually ended up doing. But yeah, bad time to do your water changes. Always do them through the week. Avoid the weekends completely, because that is one of the most common problems that I end up getting. I've just done a water change and my tank's gone cloudy. And obviously you got to talk them through all the main things, making sure they're doing the water change right. Make sure you're putting the water conditioner in before you pour the water back into the tank, because it's no good pouring the water into the tank and then putting the water conditioner in, because the chlorine's done the damage. Always treat the water in the bucket before you pour it back into your tank. Make sure there's no air fresheners and scented candles and stuff like that, anything plug in, incense sticks, because even if it is on the other side of the room and your tank has a tight fitting lid on, water acts as a magnet, so anything will be attracted to the water, and that's why you see the film on the top. And they used to actually put it on the back of air fresheners, not safe for fish, but then people started keeping other animals like birds, lizards, snakes, spiders, all that kind of stuff, and it's toxic to them as well, and it was just too much to put on the packaging, so they wiped it all off. So now if you ever have a problem, you just got to ring up and ask if it's safe. Your normal tea light candles, they are fine, but any scented candles, keep out of the room completely. Even if they're on the other side, just keep them out, because they're a silent killer. You can take your water tests to your shops, you can do one yourself. Your water's going to test fine, because they don't show up on a water test. They're a silent killer. Any polishing or anything like that, spray it on the cloth outside the room with the door closed. Keep the room well ventilated with the windows open, and then walk in with the polish already on the cloth, and then start doing that. But yeah, and we had a problem up here a couple of weeks back where the water board weren't actually putting buffer into the water, whereas my water normally comes out at around 7.2, which is great. It was coming out below 6, and obviously that's not great for you to be drinking either. You shouldn't even really be drinking that if the pH is below 6. So obviously everyone was complaining about that, and they've sorted it now. But that's another thing to look out for. If you are skeptical on your tap water, do a separate test. Test your tap water as well as your tank water, and then you know where your tap water sits. Because I've seen some places where their tap water have really high nitrates. And mine come out at below 0.5, but I've seen them where they're coming out at 40 parts per million. And I said, that's just not clean. So if you do ever ring up to complain to your water board, they won't do anything personally for you, but you will see them knocking about, checking the drains, and they're knocking on other people's doors asking if they can test their tap water. But they'll not come and knock on your door asking you to test yours, because you're the one that's complained. So yeah, just be careful when you're doing your water changes. If you do want to do them on a weekend, double dose with your water conditioner. You can't put too much in, so don't worry. The regulation's only there on the bottle, so you're not wasting it. But you can't put too much in, don't worry. I'd rather overdose than underdose. That's what I always say to people. I'd much rather put too much in than too little. So yeah, you're doing your water changes Monday to Friday. Please avoid weekends altogether. Because I hear it too often where people are losing the fish because they've done the water change on a weekend. Because the water board don't give you any notice that they're going to be flushing the pipes, but they do it every single weekend. So now you know. So yeah, a little bit of a different style video. Hopefully this can stop somebody else from making that mistake. Thanks for watching. please like, comment and subscribe. Bye.